Hello Masterpix family, welcome back again to the live photo shoot as part of our sequential assignment program. And today I have a very interesting setup for you. I have this fruit basket laid on the table here, and as you can see, the source of light is coming through the window, right? It's a beautiful cloudy day today, so diffuse light is absolutely wonderful for this type of photography. So today we are going to attempt to click pictures of this fruit basket, and in the process learn about different aspects and techniques of photography: depth of field, high depth of field, shallow depth of field, light, direction of light, right? Placement, aesthetically setting all the things together, right? So these are all the things that we'll be practicing today. Fine. So without any further ado, let me just take you through the live shoot. I have put off the lights in the room here so you can find me in darkness, but that is how we wanted. We didn't want any light to be polluting our subject here, and wanted only the natural light. Okay, so here we are in the live view, right? So as you can see, the fruits are stacked in the basket, and we have done a bit to lay it out aesthetically, right? Now let us adjust the focal length. Let's see which focal length works for this particular setup. Right, I think this is good enough. The EXIF for this particular setup for a proper exposure, as you can see, it is showing negative, right? So that means we'll have to provide extra light. So 1 by 1, 1 by 25. f2.8, we want a shallow depth of field. So we have selected f2.8, which will give the biggest aperture and hence the shallow depth of field. And since our camera is mounted on the tripod, we don't have to worry about slow shutter speed. We can go very slow. So let's make use of slow shutter speed, 1 by 20, and it should be exactly at 0. What about white balance? Auto, yes, it's working fine, right? But then I would like to have it a little warmer. So what happens if I select shade or maybe cloudy? Right, it gives a early morning glow and a yellowish light coming through the window, right? Can you see the difference between using auto? It gives a bluish and a magenta a tinge to the frame, which gives a cold vibe. I would prefer the cloudy one. Okay, so now our exposure is set, light meter exactly at 0, out of focus, right? So focusing on the first thing that is appearing in the frame, and that is the apple, and capture. Okay, the light coming through the window, soft light, diffuse light, as it is overcast and raining outside, and you get that beautiful orangish glow because we have selected cloudy, right? So the only problem I see in this frame is the background, the distractions in the background. Can you see? Right? The furniture, the walls, they are all creating a distraction. So how do we take care of this? Let's put a backdrop and avoid the clutter in the frame. Okay, and for backdrop, let's use anything that is available in the house, maybe a plain cloth or something like that. Let's check out and set up a backdrop and see if we can improve the picture. So now we have taken care of the background clutter by putting a simple bed sheet against the artifacts here. Okay, can you see? It's a simple bed sheet that is doing the job of a backdrop, right? And now let's see, how do we see it through our camera? Can you see the difference now? No clutter. Now let's go and click the picture. Let's get it exactly to 0. Let's focus on the orange this time and capture. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, the backdrop is adding to the complete frame now. Let's compare with background and without background. The picture on the right hand side is without the backdrop, right? And therefore there is a lot of clutter, whereas the picture on the left hand side is with the backdrop and there is no distraction. So your focus is going to be directly on the fruits. Right, ladies and gentlemen? So this is what I want you to do. Lay out something artistically on a tabletop, get your camera on a tripod, even handheld is okay, and create some good images using the lights coming through the window and then using different angles of light, right? So before we move on, let me just demonstrate to you the high depth of field, how you can use in your camera to your advantage. So now I have directed my camera to a landscape scenario. Can you see? The camera is pointing towards the landscape from my building window, and we will try and click a high depth of field image so that everything from the foreground, background to midground is in focus. At 640, it is at 1/15 f2.8, it is showing positive. So what I have to do, I have to cut off light. So I will select f8, still positive. I will increase the shutter speed to 250. Oh, too much off. Right. Let's focus on the buildings here. This building here. And capture. And this is what we have got. Right, let's go back into live mode. Okay. Now let's try and focus on the droplets here and see what kind of effect do we get. Out of focus, and immediately the background has turned blur, and capture. And this is the picture that we have got with a shallow depth of field in the background. So let's compare side by side. Picture on the right hand side is clicked at f8. Okay, 1/100 ISO 640, and it's giving you a high depth of field because the focus is on the buildings. Whereas with the same EXIF reading, when the focus is on the droplets, which is very close to the camera, you get everything behind in the background as blur. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want from you. Try different things, execute the depth of field, shallow, high. Learn about the creativity, practice it. Try and lay out simple things available in your house on the table in a beautiful way, and try and click pictures at different angles. Avoid clutter in the background. Try and see that your picture is coming out the best. Okay, so that's all from myself. Signing off, Amol Patil, and happy clicking.